Do you ever wake up in the morning and wonder, hmm, what shirt should I put on today? Am I going to get a cool design? Maybe the color? Well, at Totem Tees, when you put on your shirt in the morning, we want you to think of something else. We want you to think of the meaning from the shirt. So we created a product, Totem Tees, that has totem on the front of the shirt. Do you know what a totem means? Well, a totem is something or an item, maybe a symbol that represents a good quality or a great memory that you have in life. So when you wake up in the morning, look in your drawer, and see totem as a shirt in your drawer, you're going to think, you know what? I need to have a great day today. That reminded you of a good memory. That totem reminded you of something great. And you put on that shirt, and you have an amazing day. Hi, my name is Nathan Jackson, and I've started Totem Tees, my own clothing brand. Our mission statement is that Totem Tees will represent family and create a chill community through style. My goal with this business is to learn how to run my own business while going to school and playing sports, and I have a very busy life. The problem with shirts these days is they're very expensive, especially for people like me in high school who don't have extra money to splash on shirts. The one on the left here is from Dark Seas, costing $36, and the one on the right is from Volcom, which is costs at $28, and this is all pre-tax, pre-shipping. The next problem is many shirts don't have meanings. They have cool designs, cool colors, but we at Totem Tees, we decided that we want to put meaning in the shirt with a cool design at the same time. So here's our product and solution. Sold at $21. We made Totem Tees. These are our two designs that we have sold so far. Just a normal totem with a totem in the middle as the T, and a totem and a license plate on the right side. Cool design with a good meaning when you see that word totem. The market that we are aiming for is mainly teenagers 14 to 18. You may know that everybody wears t-shirts, so the market for t-shirts is huge. But we want to major in on one specific area of a group, a large group of people, and hit that market hard. So when we do this, we will get a bunch of sales, and even they can maybe reach out to their family and friends and parents, and that can expand us to that market. However, 14 to 18-year-olds are the ones that are on social media, and this is our main area of advertisements. And our competitors that we have in this market are all clothing brands. Everyone that sells t-shirts is a competitor to us, but mainly the surf brands like Volcom and others, Quicksilver. My marketing that I did is mainly just posting on Instagram, lots of posts all the time, stories, and a lot of actually the sales that I got were from word of mouth, telling people at school about it, telling them to tell their friends, reaching out to people over text type of word of mouth. And I feel like that might have been the best way that I've gotten sales. So here's some examples of marketing I did. The one on the far left is the first post we did to tease Totem Tees coming soon. And then the next post is our photo shoot that we had with a bunch of guys wearing the Totem Tees. We can see that in one of our posts, we reached almost 7,000 views, which is astronomical, as well as 190 likes. This was great awareness for us. We did a collaboration post, which means we post on our Instagram and collaborated with another account that has mass following. So it showed to all their followers. This was a great strategy that I'll talk about a little later that worked great for us. And lastly, texting people and just talking to people was great marketing for us. So our market analysis and a little recap is we had a total of 14 posts on our Instagram, gaining about 124 followers at the moment. And our largest post almost hit 7,000 views with 190 likes, as I said before, which is astronomical. We were not ready for this, but we were excited about it, and we're glad that the strategies that we use were able to show for that. And our methods for this was, so when we were about to have our drop, we posted a bunch leading up to it to hype it up so people were ready to go buy our product. And we posted with these other accounts. So collaborating is a feature on Instagram where you make a post and you invite a collaborator. So when they accept it, it goes on their main page. So then all their followers see that on their feed. So as a small account that has 30 followers, we were able to have our post be viewed by thousands of followers, which is huge when we're just starting. And then another way was we posted a lot of stories, funny little stories with little clips and memes for people to laugh at. Now, the first product we did actually wasn't a Totem Tee. We did a custom order for an account called Flip Flop Friday. Me and my friends actually started this account just as a joke. We like to wear flip flops, so let's create Flip Flop Friday. However, my friend wanted to extend this into a charity. So he was like, dude, we need to make shirts. And he's like, wait, you told me about your Totem Tees company that you're starting. Can you make shirts for us? I was like, of course I can. So we made shirts for Flip Flop Fridays. Here are the designs we made. So the main thing that I did for this order was this is where I figured out how to do designs and create my own logos. So I created both these logos that you see in front of you. And so I actually didn't make these shirts myself. I made the designs, put them where I want them, and then used a print on demand place to mass order the 55, 70 shirts because I did not have the tools to make those yet. So this was a great experience for me for learning how to do designs and stuff like that. And lastly, our main reason for this was to support a local charity. My buddy has a friend of his that suffered from pediatric brain cancer. So Donovan Smile organization, they raise money to donate to families that have kids struggling with pediatric cancer. And it's not money for research for the cancer, but it's money to help those families that can't afford to keep their kid that has that problem in the hospital and things like that, money wise, with hospital bills. So that was super awesome. I believe we donated about $300 towards the foundation, selling around 55 to 60 shirts. Now, a big learning stretch I had with my side of making my own clothing brand was the problem with burning my shirts, which was when you do screen printing, you get the ink on the shirt and you have to put it under a heater so the ink sets with the shirt in the fabric. So I put the heater too close to the shirt and I was burning the shirts and the ink wasn't setting. So I was learning through that, messing up my designs by putting them a little off center, not fully pressing the ink on. So there's little white spots in it, as well as I lost a product option. I really wanted to sell women's tees, but the setup that I had would not allow me to make them efficiently, as well as make them perfect how I wanted them to look. And I didn't want to sell a product yet that I knew wasn't going to be perfect. Now, for our original product, we just did men's tees. These costed around $7 to make per shirt. It's about $5, or it was $5 to buy blanks. And then ink, as well as our setup, comes to about $7 per shirt. And we decided to sell them at $21 so we could have a 200% profit return, leading to $14 as direct money return. I like to call it direct money return because it doesn't factor in the cost of buying the screens and buying the actual screen printing machine, but it is strictly ink and shirt that are in that cost to make. So here are the designs we had. The left side is the totem, which is my fan favorite, and then the Totem Tees license plate on the right side. We sold these in both tan and white. And I really want to show this is our packaging. So Totem Tees wants to create family and a cool style. So when we package your shirt and deliver it to you, we put your receipt in there. We have a little card that I wrote out, and it says, "Thank you for shopping with Totem Tees. We really appreciate having your business, and we hope that this t-shirt brings greatness into your life." And I write a little thank you to Bob for shopping, and I put my signature. I really want to make that personal connection with our customers. Here are all the sales we had. This is a big spreadsheet, and this amounted to 21 orders and 23 shirts that we have sold. We actually still have more orders coming in, which is awesome. Here are sales and financials, big spreadsheet. At the moment, we have made $483 of sales, but have $702.60 of cost of production. This includes the screens, burning our screens to have our logo in the screens, the screen printing machine, any ink we've bought, as well as t-shirt orders. Because early on, I bought some t-shirts to test print so I could fully learn the process of screen printing. And there was a lot of money lost there, but it was a great experience for me to learn how to do it. So then from now on, I won't have much product loss when I'm making shirts for these drops. So far, we're down about $219.60. But as I continue this business, I believe that we'll exceed and start profiting soon. So for the future of Totem Tees, a business called Reborn Volleyball reached out to us. They run volleyball tournaments out of the OC Great Park, doubles men's, doubles women's, and co-ed tournaments. And the way I had this connection was I played in a tournament in November with a buddy of mine. We won the tournament and I became good friends with the guy who was running it. And when he saw my Instagram that I was running Totem Tees, he reached out to me and he wants me to do a pop up there. So our plan is to find our new designs that we would like to maybe sell in our second drop and test these out at a pop up later in the coming months. So our futures plans, I just said we want to add new products to our product line. This being we want to add sweatshirts, crew necks, things like that. Maybe try and get those women's tees back in running, as well as maybe some new designs. We want to keep it fresh and not just use old stuff. So we're going to do this, and once we decide what we want, we will go to the Reborn pop up at June 13th. Is what we have it scheduled for, since they have a tournament that day, and we'll sell these products there and see how they do. See how people like them. If they don't, then maybe we won't put that in our second drop. And if they do, awesome, and they'll be right on the shelf for people to buy. Next, so as I said, after that Reborn pop-up, we'll fully finalize what is going to be in the new drop. Designs and the merch, whether it's sweatshirts, crew necks, and t-shirts, or women's tees, t-shirts, and beanies. And lastly, July 1st is when we will release this second drop. We believe this is a very reasonable time frame for us to get all these things done. Now, some roadblocks that I've had with this project is earlier this year, like January 1st, I got super sick, sinus infection, sore throat, all the above. And I've been dealing with the sinus infection till now. I actually just went to an ENT this last week and he gave me a 4-week medication to try and get rid of it. So I've been sick for probably a month in the last 5 months, and this has really been a struggle for me to be able to get schoolwork and run my business, as well as I have sports. So I play club volleyball, high school volleyball, and high school soccer. And high school soccer and club volleyball run at the same time. So this was a lot of time where I'm trying to get schoolwork done, start my own business, and also excel in my sports. And then lastly, I suffered a bad concussion late February in a soccer game, CIF semifinals against Harvard Westlake, going up for a ball, just got hit weird. And I've suffered from concussions previously, so I suffered one very easily this time. And I was out for 2 months. So this led to me having a lot of makeup work in my classes at school because I'm trying to pass and graduate, as well as trying to find time to where I can create this great product for Totem Tees and get it out on the market. So what did I learn during this experience? First, mainly, I learned how to run a t-shirt business. This includes how to make t-shirts with screen printing, perfecting my product. I call it perfecting my product because when I sell a Totem tee, it has to be a perfect design. And I learned the best method to make my shirts efficiently while them being perfect every time. And lastly, managing a budget with the business. So I had money from working jobs previously that was able to fund this business, but all the money that I earn, I put in a side pot, and I want to reinvest that money into my company and keep that money on its side and own. So I know what I'm spending and where all that money is going. And that was a really cool thing for me to learn how to manage and organize because it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. Next, we have dealing with setbacks. I said during my learning stretch, we suffered product loss and a product line with women's tees that we really wanted to sell right away. But with concussions and sickness and not being able to perfect that product, we had to limit ourselves to only men's tees, which ended up still working out great. But I had to deal with the loss of product, which is also the loss of money. Next, marketing. Marketing was huge. I never realized how much of what you put on the front page of a post factors into how many people like it and how many people don't scroll past it. As well as I said before, that I was big on is collaborating with other accounts that have lots of followers is the easiest way to grow yourself when you're a super small company. I learned how to talk to people very well with my business, going up to friends and then going up to strangers even and saying, I started Totem Tees. Come check us out on Instagram, and being able to be friendly with someone and not trying to be a solicitor, but be their friend and then tell them what I do with myself. And then lastly, making those ads, making those front covers super poppy so people see it and they're like, ooh, let me check that out real quick. So lastly, a big thing I learned was selling my product, which is I would say at pop-up shops. And this includes the talking to people part that I already went over. And it was a very interesting experience for me during the pop up because we're on the side of Duke's and there's people walking by. And you got to hoot and holler the right thing to not annoy people and get them to maybe come over and check your stuff out. And I learned the right and wrong things to say. And lastly, online orders, making a good spreadsheet so it's easy for people to order your product when they click the link in my Instagram bio for the order form, making it as easy as possible. Boom, boom. I want the Totem T white, or I want the Totem logo license plate tan, large, making it super easy for them was a cool process that I learned how to do. Lastly, my biggest takeaways from this project, definitely the time management skills. I say this huge is because you never know when you're going to have a setback in your own life that makes any little bit of procrastination look so much bigger than it really is. Because I remember about a week before I had my concussion, I had a little bit of time to work on my project, but I was like, you know what, I can do that next week. But boom, got hit with a concussion and I couldn't do it next week, and I was out for 2 months, not being able to work on my business, and as well as having my sports and having that schoolwork that I had to make up with creating a successful business was very cool for me to figure out how to manage my own time. Next, the basics of starting my own business, writing a business plan. I made a t-shirt business, so I'm learning how to make t-shirts, making my own designs, just simple things like that, as well as even creating an Instagram account as a business account, not a personal account. Next, creating the perfect product. This is making my product have the ability to be produced fast and perfect every time for my customers so there's no product loss. And lastly, my organizational skills. This is a little bit of time management as well as more on the money side is what I see it as, making my spreadsheets and finances, organizing all my receipts, what money's coming in, what money's going out, and what purchases do I really need to make for my business to take the next steps in the future, whether that's buying blank t-shirts to set on. And another thing with this is, what is my stock looking like? So I have 20 blank white smalls, for example, and I need to make 10 white smalls for a customer. So I need to put these numbers and figure out, okay, I can do that right away. Or tell the customer it's going to take a little bit because we need to go order some blanks before we can make your product. So organizing my own inventory was really a nice thing that I learned how to do, and it made it very easy for me to take in orders and get orders out very quick. Thank you very much. Totem Tees is more than just a company, but we're a family. And when you see that logo on a shirt, you know a guy that's very family oriented and has got good ideas, and he's probably having a good day because that totem reminded him of something great. Thank you very much.